What we did is a concert with Manny White. Looking online, I discovered he's really a rising star of the American rap scene. He's one of the most streamed artists of the year in the US. And we made a concert with him in VR, in social VR, with an innovative concept about the multiverse. So you could navigate in the same environment. You could navigate from one style to the other, like traveling again, across parallel universes while listening to the concert. In Oxymore, way to do it with Jean-Michel Jarre was a journey in a city while you were listening to the music, for instance. So it's always trying to do something which is cool, innovative, a bit crazy, and showing them you can deliver something like that. Of course, they like it because they're artists and they know that it's something they can share on social media. They can say they did it, so it's cool, and they're satisfied also themselves.
Hello and welcome to this episode of XR and AI Spotlight, the show where we give the stage to innovators, technologists, and entrepreneurs who shine at the intersection between XR and AI. Today we have with us Antony Vitillo, aka the Skarredghost. He is a CTO with two lives. At night, he codes building mixed reality apps with mixed reality implemented since 2019, like HitMotion Reloaded, and most recently has launched their own event live with one of the biggest artists in the US scene on a platform called VRROOM. And during the day, instead, he is an active blogger, having gathered a big following and positioned himself as one of the experts at the intersection within XR. So it is a great pleasure to have Antony here with me, and now let's roll the titles. One question I had, so you and your team, right, recently launched a music event on your own platform, right, VRROOM. I mean, what is it and how did it go?
Well, in 2019, like in many things in my life, start by chance, a bit like the nickname. In 2019, a bit by chance, a bit just to experiment something new, I started working with Luca Ciuttolo, the CEO of Rome, that was a company at that time mostly, let's say, promoting the selected movies in film festivals like Venice, like Cannes, these kind of things. But the CEO Louis wanted to experiment with VR because it was a great passion, a great passion for the technology. So we wanted to see if there was a way to make this event happen like in virtual reality. I was looking for someone to collaborate with. He started writing in various groups, and in a WeChat group, we were both together. I read about it. I said, okay, let's do something together. Let's see how it goes. So fast forward the 4 years, a few awards won, a few crazy nights organized already. Basically, we felt the need to have our own platform because um, we've done lots of work in VRChat, which is an amazing platform. I still love it. But we felt the need to have something that was really tailored towards concerts, events, and festivals. So with the feature set that was specific for that. VRChat is amazing, but it's more general purpose, so more to help people socialize. And so that's why we started the work like 1 year and more or less 1 year and some months ago. And the thing that I discovered, maybe we'll have the opportunity to speak about it, is that making your own platform is super complicated and super difficult, super long, and super expensive. But still now we are managing to obtain some results. So a few days ago, to be exact, on the 7th of November, we launched what we call internally we call it our beta, then externally I guess it's something like early access. So let's say we are still building the product, it still have lots of bugs, etc. But it has already enough feature set to be good because now you can go to the application that is called VRROOM, VRROOM, on all major VR stores, and you go there. There are a few events you can attend, and there are also some open spaces you can go there to socialize. And what we did in 7th of November, which will be replicated this week on Thursday and Friday, is a concert with Manny White. Money White, I've been very honest with you, I have no idea who he was. But looking online, I discovered he's really a rising star of the American rap scene. He's one of the most streamed artists of the year in the US. So really is growing a lot. And we made a concert with him in VR, in social VR, with an innovative concept about the multiverse. So it was really the idea to do something new. And people were able to go there. There's been some little problems, but most of people managed to enjoy the event and have fun. And this 15 minutes of music, let's say, had a way of living a concert in VR. So that was good.
So, Anthony, maybe to step back, right? You mentioned that indeed VR chat was not fulfilling the need of a social platform geared towards events and musical performances. So, what are the things that you would say VRU adds or changes to make that possible?
Well, that's a good question. It's still a bit of a work in progress, but there are a few things that we're already doing. For instance, one that is very interesting is, of course, the type of content we're proposing or that we're accepting, which are all towards music, theater, anyway, art in general, events. So that's already interesting to set the tone. I mean, if someone wants to go to an event, knows that going to room, find something which is interesting. Then in our creation tools, we are working towards offering facilities, maybe to have live events or live music available on all platforms. Also to have tools like ticketing, monetization tools, which now VRChat is adding them, but it's still more in a Patreon way, which is still cool for their kind of audience. But in our case, we wanted something more akin to real events where there is ticketing. And these are mostly so it's tool, it's curation, it's hypnotization. So trying to do something that long-term people that need to do this kind of events, live events, know that they have a tool set in our SDK because we have a unit SDK to create experiences for our event. Where are these facilities? Maybe for audio reactiveness, for integration with existing tools that they use, professionals if the field, something related more to audio quality, etc., which will be integrated. Some already are, and in other platforms are less relevant. And that's why we try to differentiate this way.
That makes a lot of sense. And when you look at what you have done, so you were both in charge of the technical part and I suppose also from a broader perspective, right, of the whole product and maybe the whole experience in itself. What are the things that right now you would have done differently?
Oh, so you see with the regrets of the past in the last year.
No, because no, but the main reason is because I think that people here listening can have a lot to learn from looking back, right? And I wouldn't call them regrets. I would call them more like learnings, right? Because that is something that next time you can take into account.
Yeah, jokingly, I said, given the effort, I don't know if there is a next time making a platform. But apart from this little joke, so one thing that I want to highlight is that one thing that I've done differently, I would say, is a lot. Lots is about more, let's say, time management in the sense that this is very, very, very time consuming, and lots of tasks are easy to be mispredicted in the beginning. So you see a task and say, oh, maybe this is 2 weeks of work, and then you start digging into it and you discover it's 2 months or things like that. So one thing that I noticed is that I'm still improving myself as the CTO and trying to dictate a bit the pace on the technical side. Is really being able to understand better the difficulties of every task before starting working it and understanding what are all the intricacies since the beginning and forecasting better the timing. This is something that has been very difficult these months. I'm learning now that everything takes always much more than expected. So, for instance, now when I see people criticizing other platforms, I know the effort that there is behind and how everything that you think it's given for granted is complicated. Like people mock a platform without the the feet, but integrating full body has been quite an effort. Even just making more than 20 people in a room, it's also an effort. Everything really becomes a problem. And also the other thing on my side, which is not totally on my shoulder, but let's say that, as you said, I'm anyway into lots of meetings to discuss the future of this platform is everything which is non-technical, like the marketing, for instance, because if you enter marketing, you can have the best products. No one comes, you know very well about marketing, so you know that is fundamental. Or other things like how to attract the creators, not to have an SDK, how can you convince them that is the right place to go, is a platform that is being built. Even the legal side, like the GDPR, or thinking, what if someone is violating content copyrights on my platform? I mean, all these kind of things which are extra technical, but are a lot as well. So I would say that the regret I have sometimes is really not understanding the scale of everything since the beginning. Often you notice it while you're doing stuff, you're noticing that something is missing, or someone else make you notice about the implications. I would say this is what I would have done differently in my work, because for the platform per se, I would say more or less I would have done the same things that we have now. So I have no regrets on this sense.
I think you made a good point. So it is more like trying to and get to understand and know what is the scope of this, talk with other people that have built something similar to get a really like better understanding of how big, how complicated this is. Because as you mentioned, indeed, when you start working about something that should be in real time, that people talk and reply, even like few milliseconds delay might really break the experience, might really completely break the dialogue. And again, this is one of the just one of the many things. And you mentioned also about the creation of the event, right? The curation of the event. I mean, how do you actually recruit artists, performers? I mean, how do you get them? Hey, we are creating a VR concert. Please come over. I mean, does that work?
Well, it depends a bit two levels of it. For the good side of it is that me, Mod, which is the CEO, Mod Clavier, Louis, which is the CEO, are already in lots of VR communities. Also, me and you know because of VR communities. And luckily, they have worked for many years with creators. So we have already a lot of creators in our network, which they can uh, contact directly and say, "Hey, we know each other. I know you do something cool. We are doing something which we hope it is cool as well. Maybe you can give it a try." And so on. So on this side, I would say it's rather easy in a way because we have lots of direct contacts, so people that can start experimenting what they've done. There is the other level, which is a bit more difficult, is about instead the singers for our concerts, which, for instance, are Money White, which, as I said, is quite a big artist for our scale. But even before, during the alpha, we had three emerging French artists like called Web7, Legis, and Maxence. And the thing is that if you can't have the same approach. If you try to go looking for French singers or whatever, you go nowhere. If you try to contact the big ones, like via social media, no one cares about you. So the thing that we, for now, has been effective is trying to reach out, for instance, to the labels, trying different routes because you have to try a lot before one says yes. And also, if you have someone make an introduction, is better. So maybe if you know someone that knows someone at Universal, it's easier than if you contact directly Universal. But it's still a lot of work to prove you can deliver because once you go speaking with these people, they say, "Who are you?" Because if you are, like I said, via chat, they say, "Okay, you're a famous platform, everything is going to be great, etc." If you're VRROOM, you're new, so they're like, "Who are you?" And why should we give you our artists? And so it's also a matter of showing them why they should trust us. Now, after let's say we did in chat a lot of concerts already. Now we've done two major ones on our platform, plus some minor ones. So we have some data now to show why we can do something cool, I think. But still, that's a complicated part. In fact, there are some of these companies that have a dedicated department just to look for singers, curate the rights and IP of the music, etc. because it's very complicated. It's not something you do in 5 minutes. You have to find a singer, find one. You need maybe weeks of chasing people. So luckily, I'm not the one doing that. But my colleagues are doing that before finding even Armani White. There was a few months passing by. So
Yeah.
kudos to them
And
because in the end they got a good singer.
of course, well done, well done. And so I think that what is important is like the pitch to this artist. I mean, what kind of value do you pitch? Do you position when you involve them in something like this?
Well, what we try to show is that we are going to do something cool, and this can give a your value for them. So even if the metaverse now, is a word no one want to say anymore, we should just say AI, AI all the time.
Right.
But saying them that they can be in a virtual world, do a concert like the great people, like Travis Scott did, like Ariana Grande did, etc. And they can do something similar. That's already an added value, and also showing them the cool concepts we have is also important because one thing that I'm proud of my company is that we are never trying to do something that is usual. So what we always say, and this is something I always say a lot on my blog, is why replicated in VR, well, what we can do in real life. I mean, that risks to be exactly like the discount copy of it. Like you try to replicate people in a stadium in VR, and you maybe have just fake avatars doing whatever movement. While in a real stadium, you feel the energy of 50,000 people together. You can't replicate that in VR now. I'm a believer in XR. Maybe in 25 years we can replicate also that, and not today. So instead of trying to go for that, which is impossible, we try to offer another experience. Like in this case, was the one of the multiverse. So you could navigate in the same environment. You could navigate from one style to the other, like traveling again across parallel universes while listening to the concert. In Oxymore, what we did with Jean-Michel Jarre was a journey in a city while you were listening to the music, for instance. So it's always trying to do something which is cool, innovative, a bit crazy, and showing them you can deliver something like that. Of course, they like it because they're artists and they know that it's something they can share on social media. They can say they did it, so it's cool, and they're satisfied also themselves. So the pitch is a bit about that. So you can do something new and interesting, and that can be cool for you. And some of them, are, especially the one which are a bit more innovative, they're like, okay, let's do it, and then the difficult part starts from that moment.
So when the yes comes, so from my understanding, when you mentioned this concept of multiverse, so basically the concert doesn't unfolds, let's say, on a venue, but it goes through a series of places that kind of like swap one of each other and that somehow tell a story while the concert is playing. If I understand that correctly?
It's a bit like that. Let's say that it's cool to be seen in VR because we have a YouTube video recording, which is made, by the way, using our internal recording tools that are available on the platform. That's something which is crazy. We have a super complex system of cameras everyone can use. And basically, in VR is living very well. So it starts that you are in this. The concert starts that you're in Philadelphia and crossing of these two streets. Philadelphia is the city of the singer, of course, and he's singing on top of a van. And he starts rapping, yo, 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 and does his stuff. And you are in front of it with the other people, with the other 15, 20 people that are in your instance of the concert. And okay, you listen to the music, and the funny thing is that we don't say anything. But you have two portals, like Rick and Morty portals, on the two walls, one on the left, the other one on the right. And it's funny because we have some recordings of what happens with people. So they listen to the music. At a certain point, one notices the portal and say, "What the hell is that portal?" So starts going, enters into the portal on the left, and he comes out on the one on the right. And the people are the same, the singer is the same, but the style of everything has changed. So from Philadelphia, you find yourself in a cartoon world with everything is like a green valley with weird plants with eyes. And the avatar of the singer has become cartoon as well. But he is exactly like before. He's continuing the same song, like nothing changed. he's dancing, he's moving, and you're like confused a bit. The interaction things are the same, but they look different. Then you try to go again in the portal, and you have another style, the space. So the singer is on a spacesuit and keeps singing. And the funny thing is that this changes only for you. So people go to the portal and say, "Oh wow, everything now is a cartoon world." Because they were saying, "I'm in Philadelphia." The singer said, "No, it's a cartoon world." And they don't start understanding what's happening. And since at the
Of
point, I
course,
say,
but
"I
was
went
that
into the
done on
portal."
purpose?
Yes, and there are
If
some videos that we shot as this happens. And then people start entering into the portals and they start getting crazy. And then they start commenting on something, but they're in different parallel universes, so they don't understand each other. And this happens also with me during the test. Like something was not working, I would say, "Oh, this is bad." I click on this and the thing is not looking at me. And my colleagues were like, "No, to me it works." No, it doesn't work. And they're like, "Oh, wait, but where are you?" "Oh, I'm in the cartoon." "No, I'm in space." And, and then we had to chase each other because you see the other people. The people are the same. That's a cool thing. It's not that you go to another place. It's really a parallel universe. And it's crazy concept that our art director Lapo Germasi had, and it was very very cool to me to see and to see that also people loved it. I trust you in VR is 10 times better than in the video. So if someone can on Thursday or Friday can enjoy the concert, I really advise you. It's quite short, so don't lose too much time and you can try this crazy adventure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I certainly will now because now this is like crazy, and I suppose it's best experience with others at this point, right? Because this kind of dynamic you can
Yeah.
only have it when you're there with other people. Cool.
Yes.
So, no, you wanted to add something?
No, 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 no. I say welcome if you come. I really hope that you like it as well. Maybe you will hate it. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure you will like it.
Nice, nice. So maybe one question: what is the role of the community when building something like this? So VR chat is of course built by the community to some extent, and in your case, how was it getting the people in? Were you relying on your real world community to get people? Was that something that lives beyond the event?
Well, that's a good question. I will say that every social media platform lives only because of the community, especially if you are consumer oriented. Like if you are engaged, maybe you can live with B2B and you don't need a real community. Of course, you have, but I love Engage, by the way. VRChat lives thanks to the community. It's not a secret, it's their power. It's a strength, really. It's amazing because of that. And this is what we want to build as well. Of course, we have just started in a way because we had our alpha in January, but the platform was very unripe. So let's say now we start to be appealing to the community. And it's hard, of course, to build a community because it's easy to attract the people closer to you, but even them maybe come to the concert and then what do they do? Will they come back the day after to stay in the hub and socialize or whatever? So, and who is going to build the events? Okay, we can make a big concerts every 6 months like we did, but it's not enough. 2 events per year is not a platform. Is like a very sad place, I would say. So we need the community to help us, and that's why we are trying to attract creators of the community in every possible way. I hope someone that is listening to this podcast also will try our platform and our tools. As I said, we have a unit sticker for that. The community is everything because they are the ones, first of all, that build events. They are the ones that give you feedback about how to improve. They are the ones that bring the people that watch the concerts. They're the one also cheering for us that, may seem like not useful in a company, but we're all people. A company is made of people. When I have some friends of mine in the community, they say, great event, I loved it, please do others. I feel really wanted to come the
Energy.
day after to work and do something cool. Yeah, 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 they're pure energy. So without community, we are going to die. And these are all other platforms, and the community is what can make us shine. So we really try to be close to the community. So of course, the question may be how do you attract them, and that's the million dollar questions because sometimes it's unclear why people prefer a platform or another, like VRChat. Again, we love it, but why people stick with VRChat and so much and not with, I don't know, Altspace, which had its own community, but
VRROOM. Everybody
not that
has,
we don't know how it started. Then there help us out YouTube videos. There were some things of the community that started, but was a bit of mystery. And this is also to us. We're trying to do our best to answer to the need of the community, being honest, showing some cool content, and then let's see what happens. But yeah, we all depend on the community in general. In let's say in our industry.
yeah, yeah. And so now I want to kind of like one thing I'm still struggling to understand is how do you juggle the role of the CTO with blogging and share your take on the XR industry? So those feels to some extent two separate careers, but how have you managed to put them together on the same track?
I do both of them horribly. That's my secret. No, I'm kidding, of course. Someone believes me. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, Italian sarcasm. So, the thing is,
Clarify indeed.
there are a few things to remember. No, I think that there are a mix of things. One is time management. I try always to be efficient in my management of time. Also, often there is a way like you have some moments of ups and downs in every work and the things to do. So maybe exploiting the moments where a CTO have fewer things to do to maybe do a bit more on the blog. And instead, when I have more things to do as CTO, do a bit less on the blog. So these kind of things help a lot. And of course, work a lot because otherwise there is not the time anyway to do both of things. And also be realistic about expectations because, of course, since I have a daily job, I can't publish a blog article every day because it's impossible really to do that. So when I didn't have a full-time job, for instance, I was able to publish even 4 articles a week. Now I publish maybe two or something like that. So it's a bit of finding the right compromise, finding the motivation to be always there, and juggling the time, but being disciplined. Because if you start procrastinating, you can't do both. And at the end of the day, if you manage to do that, it's rewarding to do both. Because on one side, the dev side, the dev work, I love it. It's what I studied, what is my passion since many, many years. But it's a bit like not human, let's say. You speak with the machine all the time. While the blogging work is good because I can express my opinions, express my feelings, I can connect with people. And so they compensate and also they help each other because what I learned while doing CTO can become an article and maybe some people or companies I met on my work as a blogger can become partner for the company. So if they can help each other, sometimes it's tricky. And just to tell you, like the last 2 3 weeks of work on the platform was very very hard because we needed to deliver, and whoever did software knows that the days before delivery they're always crazy. And in that time, I didn't have time to blog at all. And the compromise was okay. Now I don't write much. When now I finish the work, like now I can start publishing some cool articles again. So I have some nice ideas on new articles, and this week I will start again to publish something.
Nice, nice. Looking forward to it. And giving back on that, like your own impression of the industry, what is actually your take on mixed reality? I mean, do you think it had an impact, or it is gonna have an impact? Um, how do you see that?
Well, on one side, I'm a big fan of mixed reality. I work on it since really a lot of years, since 2019 in a way. But it's, let's say that as much as I love it, I think that on the immediate side, I don't see many positive effects in the industry. In the sense, I see long term, big positive effects. But in the short term, especially on the sales side of the headset, I I don't see the average consumer buying the Quest 3 because it has mixed reality. It has no idea what it means. It has no idea why it is useful. And so I think short term, like John Carmack also said, I mean, luckily I had the idea before him, so I can't say I didn't copy him in what he said. But
Plagiarism.
yeah, but it's really like it's something we understand, but outside people not. And the applications I've seen until now, some are nice, some are a gimmick. They can work in VR. So I think we need time to experiment. So like for VR, before having the first cool games, there have been lots of tests and experiments. And mixed reality with a headset is rather new. We still need time to make something that's compelling to buy. So I think that short term is mostly just for us that are professionals in the field, and long term is instead going to be huge for everyone. And the fact that Apple chose mixed reality with a headset, which has a long term projected success, it means that they have the same idea that long term this is going to be maybe a great technology to use.
So you mentioned when talking about mixed reality, about I felt like you were referring to games and less to other content like apps or productivity or entertainment. Something that, for example, Apple seems to be bet on giving on what they have shown, right? It seems like it's an app more to do work, talk with people, consume content. Um, how do you see that? Do you think that in this case, like for VR, mixed reality will thrive on game first, or it would be now the moment where people start finding value in mixed reality as a way to be productive or connect with people other than purely entertainment?
That's a very good question. In my opinion, I really hope for the second because I love VR games, but I find that the fact that the Quest is a console a bit limiting to what is the real potentialities of extended realities. Games are amazing. We all love Helix. We all love, Beat Saber, etc. But XR can be much more. And I think one thing that I loved of Apple is that it showed the Vision Pro as a general purpose device. The spatial computing, all these buzzwords, but it's really like you can play with it, you can work with it, you can watch TV, you can do lots of stuff. And I think that should be the vision. Also, mixed reality gaming, in my opinion, has its own purpose for some kind of games. I did have mixed reality games, of course, I can't say they're all horrible, but there is, for me, one little difference. So, VR is a technology that makes you dream a bit, and gaming is where you dream. So, for me, most of the games should be in VR because games are a form of escapism most of the time. And I want to go to the Citadel of Alex. I don't want to see a soldier in my home. That's not something that I will find it or even a bit cringe to see soldiers in my home. So that's trying to shoot me, especially. So that's a fact. Instead, having other kind of applications like having a big screen for my computer, mixed reality, that would be amazing, or something that may help me in cooking or in working, etc. That would be great. So there are some games
Actually,
which
there
are
was a good
cool on
point.
some.
There was Yeah, that was a good point because I think the one I didn't expect that actually makes a lot of sense is fitness in a way in mixed reality. Just for a practical reason, because when you are in a space, you are completely mixed reality, and then you just have the physical boundaries and you might hit things or bump into things and you don't know when you're moving if you're just changing your physical location. And I believe that's what one of the things you were doing, right, with HitMotion Reloaded, the game that you put in 2019, I think.
Yeah, that's a crazy story because that game is something that I've been very affectionate to. It Motion has a long story. It starts even in 2016, but in 2019, it was a game with Kinects and VR. It's really something that I did
Wow.
with a previous Emotional, yes. And in 2019, there was this opportunity with my team at the New Technology Workers. Well, it was especially me and the game designer Massimiliano Ariani that we had this opportunity of collaborating with HTC because I managed to take the Vive Focus, the day headset, which was like the Quest, that was really before the Quest, the Vive Focus. And the difference with the Quest is that the Focus could give access to the cameras. So there was a sample that you could get the texture of the camera. So there was no just a sample to get the texture to do whatever you wanted. So I managed to spend some time to modify that sample to put the image on the texture in front of the eyes in a way that was pastoral. That was 2019, so it was 2 years before the release of mixed reality on the Quest. So really a lot of time. I was not the only one in the world. There were other few crazy people like me doing that, either on the Focus or on the Daydream. That was the headset of Google. And but we were the first one trying to, first of all, to put open source the plugin to do that, so that all the other developers could do the same, and then to create, try to create a commercial game out of it. So we create this game called HitMotion Reloaded for the Vive Focus Plus, which was the 60OF headset by HTC Vive. We got also some support from HTC China, so thanks to Alvin Wang Graylin and his team there that helped us in doing that. And we launched the game. It was crazy. A group of 4 or 5 Italian guys in a weird office in Turin being able to launch a game in China, in Shenzhen, in front of people not understanding a single word that I was saying for the annual event of HTC. I mean, that was amazing, really. I still
Wow.
have the video on YouTube. It's crazy. And the game had mixed reality because we wanted to do something that also exploit the 60F power of the Focus Plus. That is like the Quest 1, just to make you understand what we're talking about. And we wanted to do something to the fitness to make people move all around the room. And we noticed also that there is this problem. If I punch and I move around the room, it's very risky. So putting mixed reality, it was very safe because I always was able to see what I was punching, and I could move very safely. I remember during the exhibition there was another 1 or 2 boxing games, and it was always scary seeing the others playing them because the space of the demo were very small. With other our games, no problem ever happened because people were able to see the surroundings, even if the space was very small. They just could see what they were punching, and for safety, I always thought that our game was amazing in the sense. And in fact, when we launched it then later also for the Quest 2, it had both modes. So it had VR and AR you could choose depending on what you wanted to do. So especially if you are in a small area, if you want to immerse yourself in an environment and isolate yourself, you could use VR. If you had a small space, you use AR, and everything was great. So I think that AR has this power for fitness game, which is very important. Another thing that I just want to say regarding also the experiments on the focus that we did in the past. One thing that I love of Pasto AR with respect to see-through AR, so the HoloLens, the Magic Leap, the good thing of having the Pasto, so mediation via screen, is that you can modify reality. So we had another experience made with a creator called Nele Fons called Bit Reality, and basically the idea was that you had the headset with the pass-through and the wide focus, and there was and the headset with the microphone could listen to the audio of the surroundings, so it could put some music, and it made the world around you flash the edge of the world flashing follow the rhythm of the music. So the more the music was higher, the more you see, I don't know, red edge around objects. The more the music was low, you didn't see anything. And Rafa, some funny stories. Like one night, we took this headset to the discotheque and make people in the discotheque dance with the VR headset on while they were seeing this flashing stuff. And I have to say, since you want suggestion to people, drunk people in the discotheque are the most enthusiastic users of applications I've ever seen. So if you want to feel happy, put a
In
headset
the
on top of a
community.
sunroof. Yes. They were like, "Oh my God, the best experience of my whole life. I want to buy it." So really, everyone was super happy about that experience. So that was a great one.
Awesome. Anthony, I think we span from one thing to another, and I just have one last question. It's like, what is next for you, Anthony, and the Scarred Ghost?
Well, that's a nice thing. So with VRROOM, we are keeping working on the platform. We're working on a new project actually of a concept, but I can't speak about anything that will kill me. But on the platform side, we are implementing some features that didn't make it for the deadline, but are almost completed. So we are going to release them in the next weeks. And the difficult thing for these big projects is really, it's like a marathon. It's easy to do a sprint of 1 month to do a project, finish it, ship it, but you know it because you're also a part of a very cool project that keeping motivated every week for a project that can last forever is not easy, and also trying to understand what to do. So now we're trying to plan for the future and develop new features. On the other side, on the blogging side, I would say that the plan for me is to keep being back at writing because, as I said, I missed a few articles in the last weeks, and I'm looking for someone cool to interview as well. It's a lot that I don't do some very cool interviews, so I'm working on it. And in general, also, I should have last at the end of the month a new trip planned in Europe, but I don't know if I can talk about it. So let's say traveling again, since I wasn't able to BW Europe, at least I can have my last trip of the year. So this is short term, and always so happy to be surprised by what can happen. So if someone has proposals of crazy things, I'm always there to listen.
You know who to contact now. Yeah. So, Anthony, thank you very much. I think that if you were here listening, I think we covered a lot. And remember, of course, to go and try VROOM, join the Scarred Ghost blog, and also try HitMotion Reloaded, so that you can experience how for one of the first, literally one of the first mixed reality fitness game was actually made. So, Anthony, thank you very, very much for being here.
Thanks to you. It's been a true pleasure, and thanks everyone listening to my monologues. I wish you a great day in VR.
Bye bye, and maybe see you in Viru for the next event.
Yes, see you on Thursday. Bye bye.